misunderstandings in the past. I just want to make sure.
Right. Yeah, I think we can talk about the show in general at first, and if we want to talk sports, we can. We should just probably give a warning first.
Okay. And what's up, fellas and ladies? It's time to get fired up because it's Wake Up Mintzy, Tuesday morning, beautiful summer day here in the Barstool Chicago office. We are, as always, not quite live, but joined in studio by our good friend, part of the iconic Rat Race team, maybe one of the more fun combinations of people and personalities I've had in a while. White Sox Dave joins us. Dave, how are you this morning?
Doing great, Mintzy. How you doing?
Doing good. And as always, starting my morning, chugging some Stella Blue coffee. Look, summertime's all about the cold brew, the blueberry cold brew, especially with Stella Blue. Elite. Not just because Big Cat is an amazing human, but he's also got some damn good coffee. So check out Stella Blue, especially their cold brew. It's the only way to start your day here in the summer. And we're also joined by video by the man that started the Rat Race himself, our good friend Chris Klemmer in the Barstool office in New York, I believe. Klemmer, how are you this morning?
Good. Yes, I'm in New York. Hello, Mintzy. Hello, Dave. How are we doing today?
Excellent.
Doing well. As always, Wake Up Mintzy, sponsored by the fine folks of Dude Wipes. Look, it's summertime. Everybody's dealing with, you're sweating, you're walking around, and I don't know how people could even live without Dude Wipes. I'm at a point where the product is so good that it makes my life exponentially better. Just having them. One use of Dude Wipes will change your life. They're taking over the toilet paper world. It's a revolution. You can find them at Amazon, Target, Walmart, and all over the World Wide Web. Just give them one shot, and you're going to love them forever. So thanks to Dude Wipes, as always, for having us. Good morning, boys. How we doing? Everybody's good? Let's talk some.
Doing great, yes.
So a couple things I want to touch on, and then we're going to get into Rat Race, which is, man, a lot of fun. The big release last Thursday morning. We had the watch party on Wednesday night at the Barstool River North Bar, which was a lot of fun. You know, Klemmer, you were seeing it. You know, how'd you think that went?
It was fine. It was a nice little get together, nice little as Dave would say, intimate gathering. It was nice. It was good though. It was a good group, and I'm ecstatic with how the release went though. Like, the views have been great. People seem to like it, which is awesome. It means we can do more of them. I know one thing though. If we do another one, it sounds like we're going to. You boys are gonna be back. You guys are probably my favorite duo. We've done 3 of these. I don't know if I have a duo that makes me laugh harder, that makes me. This is when I thought of the idea that you guys were kind of almost like the idea. You guys became the ideal. You guys are everything Rat Race should be.
Why do you say that?
Because you are competitive. You want to win, so you care. You're both at times dumb as a fucking wall, which is perfect. And then I love the dynamic. You guys, and also the fourth thing, Mintzy talks about it a lot, which is true. You guys have really good stamina. Like, you guys can last a long time in the race. With some people, you see them kind of gas out. I think we might talk some spoilers along the way, but, your Chicago brothers there, Chief and Eddie, they ran out of gas, but you guys didn't. So, like, that's another thing that I think is going to set you guys apart moving forward in the show.
Well, my thing is, I always jokingly say this, that the greats are often misunderstood, but, like, Dave and me, I mean, I can see why people think, maybe we're not the smartest sometimes with awareness and stuff. We're both a hell of a lot smarter than people think. And like being on Dave's team, I'm gonna gas him up, and I know he may not feel quite the same about me, but dude, he knows Chicago. Like right when I heard that Dave and me were on the same team, I was like, I don't know. I mean, what the hell do I know? But I was like, perfect. We can just lean on Dave's knowledge of growing up here, and I'm just gonna keep the stamina going, and we're gonna keep it simple. And I think we got a shot to make some noise.
Yeah. When the teams were announced, obviously there was chatter off camera in the office about who's going to do what. And Eddie, to his credit, was the only one that said that. So I knew right off the bat that we had a shot based on my knowledge of the streets per se. And I know Mintzy does his like 5K, 10K, half marathon stuff. So, and as someone who also runs, I know what it takes to do that, and if you can run a half marathon, you can take a long time to get to, like you could take I should say not take a long time. It's easy to keep pace, over a long time. So I thought we had a real chance to win, and if I came off like an asshole to Mintzy during the actual thing, it's because I was hell bent on winning that, and I knew we had a chance over everybody in the field. And that's why, and I wanted to just be like, Mintzy, follow my lead. Just keep up with me. That's it. Just stop talking. Don't say anything. Just follow my lead. And we were good.
Yeah, one thing that you guys did that a lot of teams, one thing that you guys didn't do that a lot of teams did was you guys didn't take any wrong turns. So you do know the streets. And we saw, if you watch the show, you see guys that know Chicago fuck up, whether it be not taking the L when they should have, or taking the L at the wrong time, or taking a bus at the wrong time. You guys always seem to have kind of a pulse of Chicago more than the other teams, which I was kind of surprised. Not about you, Dave, but I'm surprised the other teams weren't as successful as you guys with kind of just knowing the city in and out. I don't know, Dave. I think you got some bragging rights over your boys over there.
Yeah, definitely. Those guys are idiots. Awful sense of direction. How they turned. I mean, it's very easy to tell direction. No matter where you are in Chicago, the lake is always to your east, no matter what. So if you know where the lake is, you know where you're going. And we are on the river, and Pritzker Pavilion is south of the river. They took a right instead of taking a left at the river. How do you do that? So bad by them, embarrassing by them, but it is what it is. I do. Can we get to a point where we have recommendations moving forward? For you.
I'm always up for whatever. Sure, I love recommendations, no ideas.
So I think that like the beginning was great, how everyone thought you overslept and everything. However, there was too much following. Once someone knew the clue, it was follow the leader. So figure out a way to like keep everybody separate off the bat maybe. And granted, I've never watched The Amazing Race, so I don't know how they do it in that show. But like, so PFT and Megan, like after watching the video, they were just following me the whole time because they knew I knew it. So, I mean, that takes away the skill out of it, kind of, That's my one recommendation.
There's an element of that. So
yeah.
That's on you guys a little bit too. So the first thing, you're right. When it starts, you guys are all grouped together. That's just inevitable. That's probably just how it's going to be. After that, though, we do stagger the times. So that's about you guys just getting off the blocks and getting out faster. So, for instance,
that's true. That's true.
If you're the first place team, you get a 2-minute head start over the next team. So the problem was PFT and Megan just kept beating you guys. So they would always have the head start, so they could kind of linger, they could kind of do whatever they wanted to. And if they saw that you, especially Dave, and it was true, like, watch the show, like, you, hate to say it, but, like, the other boys, but, like, you know Chicago better than anyone else. So, like, you knew the ins and outs. So if I was playing the game, too, and I was ahead of you guys, maybe you do kind of lurk back a little bit. Now, the thing is, the next time we do this, we're not going to be in Chicago. We're looking at cities right now. There's a few different options on the table. So there's going to be a neutral city potentially. How do you guys think you would do there? Let's say we dropped you in a city, Topeka, Kansas, or what? We wouldn't be there necessarily, but like, let's say we dropped you in the middle of nowhere. How would you guys do? Do you think you'd have the same sense of direction? Would you guys still be successful?
I think it would be tougher, but I do think Dave has a pretty good sense of direction, and I know I don't. So I don't think there would be too much infighting. Like I would let him lead it and just drop in tips that I figured out. So I think we have a formula that could work.
So in my previous life, I was a logistics broker. So like directions were my literal profession for a long time. So it's kind of beat into my brain which way's north, south, east, west, highways, streets, maps. That's all I did for 10 hours a day, 5 days a week. And so I think that does lend to this game especially. But obviously I don't know, like the Bobby Orr clue, the MJ clue, like if there's a similar clue to that in Boston or New York, it'll take me a much longer time to get it, because most of them I just saw it and snapped. I knew exactly where to go. And we ran a lot of it too. Like the other teams, they were taking buses and hitchhiking, and we did that once obviously, but like most of the time we were running. I measured it. My watch had 6.8 miles in that morning. That, now granted, that's like walking to the office and stuff, but we probably ran 4.5, 5 miles that day.
Yeah, looking back,
no, I believe it. Now I got the kayaking clip. Dave said
I believe Moody's got the kayaking clip if you want to play it at some point, Moody.
Yeah, maybe we should. Yeah, can we play that now? Because I have some questions for you guys about this.
Okay, I'm gonna see if he'll
we
play
gotta
it
turn
when
around and go to the other
There
side.
we go.
Okay, so we're turning around.
Yes, we're going to the
so
other
we're
side.
gonna
I guess I have to
make
ask.
sure balance is
Dave,
good. It's
I
all
don't
about
know.
the balance.
So I don't know if it's the case.
These
where
guys are
Mintzy's
dead in
just
the
so
water.
bad at
Literally,
kayaking,
literally dead in the water. Mintzy can't figure out how to paddle.
or if it's a case
Vince, we're
of
going the wrong way.
You said the bridge.
Dave, you're
This
also
bridge.
Oh, you didn't say that. Okay,
Probably
we
a
got
little
it.
bit of both. I don't think I've ever kayaked before.
Look, I'll put that more on. I mean, obviously, Dave Portner, we tweeted how breathtaking that was. I haven't kayaked. Luckily, when I was a kid, I went to summer camp and canoed and stuff. So at least I'd kind of done that at some point, even if it was 30 years ago. But to be honest, I was just worried about the balance thing at first. And I was screwing up, but I was worried my fat ass was going to tump the boat. And I felt like, Dave and I get along and stuff and make the best of it. But if that happened, I felt like that would have killed the relationship. So that's what I was more panicked about. And so when we started off bad, I was just like, we got to keep this damn thing up and not end up in this lake. We struggled at first with the kayaking, especially, some of the funniest clips was Dave was like, go towards the bridge. And there was a bridge on both sides. So I was paddling toward the wrong bridge. And he starts yelling at me, and I'm like, dude, I'm going toward the bridge.
That was one. In hindsight, like that one was an easier mistake to make. They did point at the Columbus Street Bridge though, and that also is living in the city forever and knowing what bridge he was. Just like the assumption in my head was, we got to go to Columbus, because the other one was like the entrance to the lake, and obviously you don't want to take the.
There's also a person in a kayak with a clue under the bridge.
You could. It was a long ways.
That would maybe tell you I should probably head to that bridge.
Well, you couldn't see that bridge or that person in the canoe. You could if you looked, but that was like a long way. It took a solid 15 minutes of kayaking to get there, and once we got the hang of it, probably 10 minutes to get back. But we were on that thing for a while. It was a long time we were on that thing. My arms are in my elbow muscle right here, whatever that is, and my shoulders were just cooked from doing the cranking. But it was good. Well, we got the hang of it after a minute. We got the rhythm, and we were going straight.
Yeah, the way back was much better.
Yeah.
And I thought just the whole thing, the strategy with Dave and I, it was, it's a fascinating game. But Dave was really getting on me that the second leg when he was way ahead of me running. And I was just like, look, we can't win it right now. It's all about just not being the last one to get eliminated. And I was like, if we can save energy for the back ones when people are gassed out. And then also in the strategy thing, we were allowed one Uber rideshare, and everybody else burned them up early. And we saved ours for later, which I thought was smart too. But, I think the big thing was the stamina thing. And then also, obviously not trying to spoil anything, but I think the best moment for us was probably when we got to Portillos and there was an eating contest.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. So, we had 2 rat traps on the show. If you haven't watched, go watch.
Check it out. The production, Booze, and your
fantastic.
crew did such a damn good job.
Oh my god, the camera guys did great. Keeping up with you guys. Booze was my director, and Delo's the editor. Those guys knocked it out of the park. Delo's the same guy that does Surviving Barstool. I mean, this guy is a legit editing genius. What he can do is incredible. And Booze did an amazing job. Put in the music. Helped edit as well. I couldn't be happy with the guys that I had work on this with me. Portillos. So that's the other rat trap. We have 2 rat traps, so 2 kind of physical challenges. This was one of the most impressive / disturbing things I've ever seen. we go to Portillos, and you guys had to eat a entire Italian beef from Portillos, which is fantastic. Portillos is great sponsor of the show, and the food's fantastic. I've gone there on my own. I love it. A Chicago dog, and you guys had a split fries. I thought this would take people, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes to do on the short end. You guys did this in about 3.5 minutes flat.
Dave did it in like a minute faster than me.
I've watched an uncut clip of Dave eating this food, and it's like a cartoon. You know how
Can you get me that?
And they eat it up? It was like that. It was disgusting, disturbing. Why do you eat like this? And what's wrong with you?
Nothing. I get made fun of for how fast I eat just when I'm eating normally. So I said this on the Yak or something the other day. I obviously have a lot of irrational confidence in physical competitions, let's say.
Just called it irrational.
Some zest is put on that. Not a lot of zest, but some zest. But I will say this, there's not one person in this office that can eat faster than me. That is just how it is. I can eat faster than fuck. I'm a garbage disposal. It gets like I have to tell I'm like a Labrador. Have you ever seen a Labrador, like a lab dog eat? They inhale the food. I'm like
my
that.
golden retriever is like that. She just inhales it.
So when I was told I got to eat fast, I was like, it's like one of those things. Like if I'm in the Olympics or something right now, I refuse to lose this race. Like I refuse to lose that to literally anybody in that moment. And I was never gonna lose that. I was never gonna lose that.
Do you taste the food? Like, can you
tasted great.
taste it when you're eating it that
fast? Of course.
And Mintzy, I gotta say, Mintzy, if it wasn't for Dave, you would have been the fastest eater by far. I am. You inhaled your food as well, but being paired up with Dave, it almost looked like you were holding the team back.
No, I was, and Dave was yelling at me about it too, and I thought I was.
Well, you kept talking. You're like talking in between bites. I'm like, stop talking. You're wasting breath. Just like chew, swallow, bite, chew, swallow, bite, chew, swallow, bite.
I'm a friendly guy. I don't know what to say.
But you were talking to the sandwich.
Well, yeah,
you're like,
the sandwich is my friend, dude. The Italian beef at Portillos. I mean,
you got money on the line.
Yeah, and he got on me when I said I like on the second thing when Vibs was the rat showed up. I was like, "Oh, Vibs, what's up, dude?" Because we sat by each other at the Barstool office for a couple of years and I lived there. And Dave's like, "What the?"
Well, Vibs starts we get there. Vibs starts describing the challenge. Obviously, Vibs isn't going to play catch up with us right now. And then, so Vibs was in the costume. Once Mintz realized it was Vibs, it was like he forgot about the competition. And he's like, "Oh, what's up, Vibs?" And he wanted to catch up and exchange pleasantries and see how he was doing. I'm like, "Mintz, not now. Later. Catch up after the show." So that's where my mind was. And but I thought that added some flair to the show. I thought it was funny like that. Those little I laughed at him.
I loved that. I want to change the dynamic you guys have is perfect. I want nothing to change. Now, Mintzy, you seem to struggle getting into the subway. This is the part that made me laughing the hardest.
Yeah, my Apple Pay on my phone wasn't working, and so I was I couldn't get it to pull up, and so yeah it was bad.
Did you ever think turn around and buy a ticket? You could just buy a ticket and then get on the subway that way.
I was in that rushed panic mindset.
Yeah, you were.
I was in a rushed panic mindset, and so I wasn't really thinking clearly.
That it was all the little stuff like that throughout the morning. How long did that take to film? 4 or 5 hours, maybe, if that.
Yeah, it was about a 6-hour shoot, I think, all said and done, right?
Okay, so it was like a half day. It wasn't too long at all, but there was a bunch of little moments, a lot that didn't even make the cut in the final edit, where something would happen or he'd do something or there'd be an engagement of some sort, and I would just snap on him because it was slowing us down. It was slowing us down, and it was unnecessary at the time. But I loved it all at the same time.
I got to call Dave. One thing that was funny, I got to call David. I was saying, "Oh, we're the best team," and then Dave, you were just "We're the worst." Dave was like, "We're the worst." I don't know what you're talking about early, but that was early on, and I think I won you over later.
Yeah, you did. All you had to do is keep up. I knew exactly where everything was. Just follow me there, and we'll get there. And that was it. It was good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a ton of fun.
If I bring you guys back, are you guys going to defend the title? Or even if I drop you to neutral city. So it'll probably be neutral for everybody else, too, though. So maybe that logistics background might help. Dave.
If it's neutral for everybody else, then we would absolutely be right there again for the championship or winner title or whatever you want to call it.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah, man. I liked it. I loved it too. Just like living up in Chicago, I got to see so much of the city that day too. Just like learning the history.
That was so
and stuff.
cool. Like I had never really been to Chicago, and we were, I did stuff for, the Combine and some other stuff, or Mintzy when I challenged you, but I wasn't really in the city very long. So Booze and I went early, and we were scouting possible locations. And one of the places we almost considered, but we actually weren't allowed to shoot there, was the old post office. In Dark Knight, the bank scene?
Yes,
we were
in the
going to
very
have
beginning.
something there.
Yep.
And but they wouldn't let us shoot in there. So I was like, fuck. So we were looking around, went to different places, but just seeing the city, it was like, this place is so beautiful. The way the river just cuts through the city, you got the lake there. And it was just really cool, like Mintzy said, just to kind of, as someone does another city, to kind of walk around and see these different spots. It made me like really appreciate and love Chicago, like even more than I thought I would, honestly.
Yeah, Chicago's got its warts, obviously.
Yeah, I love living here. No, I mean, I do. I've said on record, I mean, I like living here like 100 times more than New York. I mean, it's not even like in the same. And like, I'm not even saying I'm hating on New York, because New York has so much history and, great food, music, culture. It's got all that. But as far as like feasibly like living day to day, the people are way more friendly here. The people are way more approachable. The cost of living's way better. And all the stuff I just talked about that's in New York that's great is here and great. So I'm a huge fan of Chicago. I think it's in the summertime thing here too. It's, I heard the hype on it forever, but it's the realest thing ever. It's 75 of the breeze every day. I mean, it can't be better.
I don't know. We've had a pretty hot summer, Mintzy.
This is hot.
Oh yeah.
I'm used to coming up from South Louisiana.
Yeah,
where it's
it's a little
98
different.
and humid, and you can't even like walk outside without sweating, and the air's so thick. So, no, I love the Chicago thing, and like I said, it was fun to get out and check it all out. Klemmer, I want to ask about the idea, where you got the idea and like how all Rat Race kind of began. This is your third one.
Yeah.
Like,
I love Amazing Race, and I'm like, all right, what if we just isolated that to one city and we did it with Barstool people? And the first one was like, all right, I can. They let me do it. They're like, you got to do it really cheap. I said, all right, so I guess we're gonna do it in New York. And I asked people to do it, and people were very generous with their time in doing it. It was just kind of an idea. The crew was awesome. And we had Dello, we had Booze. I think the first two Rat Races are both fantastic. Both are in New York. But we didn't have any sponsors yet, so we had to do the first two in New York. I was happy to do it because I love the history of New York. I mean, like I love New York. I was born in New York. I love New York City. So I was happy to kind of showcase that there. And the first one did pretty well. The second one did pretty well. People seem to like it. This one, though, I think kind of leveled up. I think having Big Cat, PFT, some of those big names in it helps a ton. I think having some of these moments like that you guys delivered on like really helps. Having obviously Dave tweet about it's a big deal. So it seems like I was even talking with Jake Bass yesterday. It sounds like it's green light for 4. So that's because I love doing these. This is the thing I love doing at Barstool the most. I'm happiest planning this, writing the clues, visiting the cities. There is not one part of doing this that I don't like. And you guys know how rare that is. Like, we all love what we do, but sometimes it's like little things like, I don't like that. I love every single thing about Rat Race. Every single thing. I love it to death. So I get to do a fourth one. We're talking potential cities. I guess I'll ask you guys, because I'm telling you guys right now, you guys are in it. So you guys are the first team to be asked. You guys are in it. Ideal situation, what cities would you guys want to do? That's not Chicago, not New York.
I mean, the obvious ones I would say are Philly and Boston with the Northeast ties we've got in this company and the history in both. But I mean, I'm going to shout out New Orleans hardcore. I know that might be a down the line thing, but the history in that place is just unbelievable. And I also think a lot of it would be pretty friendly for like, a lot of everything's 10, 20 minutes away. So I think it would be cool with all the history and landmarks getting around, and then you could get just so creative with that one. So, I mean, I'm obviously biased, but I'm going to go hard for the Big Easy here.
So I love Philly. I hate New York. Love Boston. Both great cities, ton of history, especially American history fan like I am. I've never been to New Orleans. That was going to be my answer prior to Mintzy even saying that. That's like on the very near to-do list. So if I can boondoggle a little weekend there from work while having fun and getting it paid for, I think that I'd have to lean that way. That's like the last great American city I haven't been to. So besides LA, really. It's LA and
I haven't been to
New Orleans
LA
is pretty
either.
much
Yeah,
it.
LA. I haven't been to the Pacific Northwest. I went to.
I hadn't been
Colorado for the
Northwest
first
either.
time.
Yeah, I don't need to see
Yeah.
Seattle. I don't care about Seattle.
I heard it's
but
beautiful. I heard it's really gorgeous up there.
yeah.
I went to Colorado for July 4th break, and I fell in love with it. I think that's not on the table for this, but that would be someplace I would love to do it. Is Denver area. There's no humidity in the summer. The mountains are gorgeous. It's the most beautiful. The Rocky Mountains is the most beautiful place I've ever been. And Mintzy, we both love Red Rocks.
Oh yeah,
So,
no, and you love Coors Field too, right?
Yeah, I might.
God.
That'd be awesome. I might be going out for a little surprise OAR concert at Red Rocks in a few weeks.
I'll say this.
Not surprising.
I'll say this: if you did Denver on the rat race, people would be dying running that altitude.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I'm telling
That's
you,
true.
like Barstool people, if you did that up in that altitude, that would be.
They need gas tanks.
I mean, people would be. I mean, that would be rough.
That would be fun to watch. That's what I said. That's not on the table for this one, but maybe in a couple of years hopefully just keep. Like I said, obviously having the sponsors like having Pink Whitney and Portillos step up, that allowed us to do some extra things with this. So hopefully we can, keep getting sponsors and keep having it grow. It's kind of fun, like watching it grow too. Like how when we first did it, we had to do it completely bare bones, and now we have a little bit more leeway. And hopefully this next one, people want to jump in and sponsor it because I really do love doing it.
Yeah. Now, shout out you giving the prize money too up top. I think that is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I think that adds to I love that you were able to do that. And, I think that giving people a reward makes people go harder. And then you also mentioned Big Cat, PFT, Walker, everybody getting involved in it. That's awesome. And that's one of the things that's great about Barstool too is there's a great communal feel and people support each other. Even especially shout out Big Cat and PFT, like our top guys. They're so established. They can do whatever they want in theory, but they all give back to the lower. Support the whole thing, and that's one of the coolest.
Everybody does, and that's one thing people maybe don't like. I guess you really don't understand or appreciate it unless you're here. But the first one, I had Fran and Rita. They pretty big podcast, Chicks in the Office.
Oh, huge!
They gave away their day to do it, which was so nice. And then the second one we had Kevin and Fights. They've been around a long time. Kevin and Fights don't need to be running around New York competing in a race, and they won. So it was to have some of these people that don't need to be doing this, but doing it when I ask was very nice. And like you said, Mintzy, you're absolutely right. Like the idea that we all kind of support each other, we all kind of bust each other's balls and stuff, and I'll give you guys shit all the time, and you guys I'm sure will give me shit. That's fine, but we all. I feel like everyone here is very collaborative, and that's all you can ask for. That's the one thing about Barstool I don't think gets enough appreciation, but I appreciate the hell out of it because it makes a huge difference when you try to do a show like this. So look at Jeff with the dozen, everyone does that. I feel like if everyone tries their best to help out somebody else's idea, which is I think an underrated part of Barstool.
Definitely.
Have you ever seen a sheer look of terror like Megan's when she saw the food contest?
Yeah, that was honestly, I would have had the same look. I just can't eat fast, and I just can't eat a lot. So after the race, she's like, how would you have done with that? I said, well, A, I would have sucked at it, but B, I'm not running the race. She also has an advantage over some people. I mean, she's in great shape. She can run. Her and PFT could run a lot of it. So when it comes to other elements, they were better at kayaking than you guys. So we try to balance it out where there's strengths and weaknesses, but.
Yeah, that was the best moment when I saw that her look at terror. But we still, after that, I mean, we were stuffed, and we trucked it to the 360 building. They just gave up. They white flagged it.
Yeah, they did, but we ran it. That was another probably 3/4 of a mile from A to B right there.
It was funny, too, because I think, like you said, Klemmer, that you anticipated it would take 8-10 minutes to eat, and we did it 3 or 4. And, when we got to the last building, they weren't even, thinking we were anywhere near, and they were just shocked when we showed up.
That's true. That's true. They're like, we had to, set up on the fly right now because you guys...
Yeah, we know. I was scrambling. So there were 2 times when you guys got there way too fast. The first time to the X-Checker, the teams got there way faster than we anticipated. I was those rat signs that were there? Me and an intern were hanging those up literally seconds before you got there because we were scrambling. Because you're like, oh, we heard in the radio, like, they're coming. We're like, fuck. We thought it would take you guys longer to get there. The other time was you guys devouring the food at Portillos. We didn't know it'd be that fast. And me and Corey Rutledge were like, fuck. So then that's, like, we literally were scrambling just to get the shot. Like, those were two moments where it was like, I know Booze was really sweating it. Like, we were like, we got the shots, everything came out wonderful, but those were two moments where we were like, that was closer than it should have been.
Yeah, we were hauling ass though after.
Yeah,
like,
we were.
considering
We
we
were.
just eating that Portillo's, like that was kind of what I said on the strategy thing, was saving the energy for the end. And so I mean, we were just trucking it over there.
Yeah, we were cooking. Do you have the unedited footage of the food competition? Can you send that to me anyway?
I'm sure Dello does. Dello and Booze must. I watched a clip of you guys eating it, and it's just disturbing and weird. Yeah, it's something else.
That was my
I think I
time
might
to
talk
shine.
I almost want to put out a clip, like just a 3-minute clip on Twitter or somewhere of just you eating, because it's
Do it.
disgusting.
That'd be
Yeah, you
awesome.
can do like a
Yeah.
montage of it.
Not
Not
just
even a
the-
montage. I
Not
want,
not
like,
a montage.
unedited
Just
clip.
yeah.
I mean, it was unbelievable to watch. Like I said, I mean, I'm a big, I'm certainly not the worst eater in this company, to say the least. And Dave, I would have my jock on the floor trying to compete with Dave.
I'm a fast eater.
Where do you store it?
I
mean,
don't-
you're not like-
I can eat a lot too. I'm going out for a nice dinner tonight, and I'm already anticipating eating. I'll probably put 5 pounds of food in me this morning, or this
Now,
morning, this
like
afternoon.
if you go to a nice steakhouse or something. If I brought you to Peter Luger's, we're in New York, we have a nice meal. Are you gonna eat like that there?
No, I won't eat that fast there because I gotta tell myself that you need to slow down. You're in the presence of civilization,
Yes.
So I wouldn't eat. I would eat. The quantity would be. I'd eat everything. Fast, speed, velocity. I'd tone it down just because I would be telling myself to tone it down. But like tonight, I'll get a 24-ounce steak or something around there. Just all the appetizers in the world. Like I will have at least 5 pounds of food in me tonight. I'm looking forward
How
to
old are
it.
you?
35.
How old are you?
35.
I
wonder
got
when you're like 55. Dude, when you're in your 50s, you're gonna be just like this disgusting person. Like when
I-
your metabolism
that's-
slows down, is it gonna?
You guys can. Anybody who's listening to this can Google this. I think the blog title is called "The Art of Losing Weight the Half-Assed Way."
Dude, I read it. No, I've complimented you on it. That was like, I read it and it like helped me.
So during the week, like right now on Mondays, I actually cook a lot at home on my own. And so over the weekend, I did a 48-hour bone broth. So right now, my entire diet's bone broth. It was all yesterday and then through dinner tonight. So that's what I do on like Mondays.
Okay.
And then I do a shit ton of cardio. But and like for the next, I'm going out on a random Tuesday. Typically I don't do that, but I eat what I call half-ass healthy. So like burrito bowls instead of the burrito.
So being carb conscious,
Yeah.
but not like low carb, but like
Right.
just conscious of it.
But 10,000 steps, hell or high water every single day. At least 45
All right,
minutes
all right,
of
all right.
cardio and at least 1,000 calories burned. That's like my goal every day for keeping average physique. Otherwise,
I'd say you're
lost
full
like
of shit. I would say you're full of shit, Dave. But like the rat race, you never really got gassed.
No, and you
no.
were running. I mean, you were running a pace. The pace you were running was.
I can pace myself at like a 7:30 for like 5 miles plus. I can run far and pretty fast at this point.
Oh, all right.
You ran
I
a
ran a
half?
marathon. No, I ran a marathon.
You ran the full?
I ran the.
Did you
Chicago Marathon.
jog the whole time, or did you?
No.
walk?
I ran through mile 15, and then I was going a mile, walking a tenth of a mile. Then I was after that until like mile 20. I was running a song, walking a song, and then for like last 3, like in my headphones, run a song, walk a song, and then the last like 3 miles, I just put my head down and just shuffled it out.
I gotta ask because, like I said, I've done the half, but like the difference between the half and the full is, I mean, it's 13.1 miles. It's obviously a ton.
It's double.
No, but it's
crazy.
the thing is with the half though, you can mentally just be like, okay, I'm warming up the first 2 or 3 miles. Then you get into the teeth of it and you run 4 or 5 miles. And then when you're like wearing down, you're on mile 8 and you're like, okay, the finish line's quasi in sight. that point you just said where you get to you're 15, 16 miles into a full 26 miles and you still have 10 or 11 left. I'm not mentally prepared for that. That's the mental thing I can't.
The year I ran, it was 2016. It was unseasonably hot that day. It was middle of October. It was like 82 degrees, which is not supposed to be a middle of October in Chicago thing. Way too hot to be running that far. I got to Damon Avenue, and at the time I lived this very hyper local, but in Ukrainian Village, if you're listening from Chicago, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Mile 15, that's right at the United Center, give or like right there, about a few blocks away. So I got to the point I could take a right and be on my couch in 5 minutes, or take a left and keep going on the race. And I swear to God, I had that thought go through my head. I'm like, it's way too fucking hot out here. But I took the left and I gutted it out. But in the end, I do a lot of cardio. That's the point. And that's why I knew Mintz and I were going to be a good teammate. So just let me know the clue. I'll figure it out because I know Chicago. Mintz, keep up. We're good.
I got a question. When people were talking about it before, you said Eddie gave us a chance. A lot of people were laughing, like saying we had no shot. Like, it'd be funny if there were ever like mock odds on Rat Race because there were 5 teams. But I mean, we would have probably been 8 or 10-1. I think.
Yeah, I would have loved to see the pre. I honestly thought we had an excellent shot at winning. An excellent shot at winning.
Us behind the scenes, we were all we just thought you two were just so dumb that we're like, all right, they're not gonna figure out the clues, or they're just gonna get in their own way. They're gonna fuck something up. So the odds going into it were that Nick and KB were gonna win, and then you guys were gonna finish dead last, and instead it flipped. And
see, I've told people this before. There's a difference between being just flat out dumb and being an idiot. I do idiotic things like ad nauseum constantly, but there's a difference between being dumb, like flat out, like just dumb. Like I know things, not a lot of things, but some things I know a lot about, and Chicago is one of them. Directions.
That's a great quote. There's a difference between being dumb and being an idiot. That is, I mean, I feel like I probably straddle that line more than most, but well said. I've never heard that, but that is. When I looked at the teams, though, I was worried about Nick and KB, and Nick had the mic problem coming out the office, and so that slowed them down. And then I knew PFT and Megan could be a problem, and they were, because like a lot of times when they just keep up with this, they were faster than me, and so that was a problem when we were with them bang, bang. Like, at the end, they just outrun me. They outsprint me. But then, Nick and KB getting knocked out early. I remember right when that happened, I told Dave, I was like, that's a break for us. Like, we have a super, super good shot. Shout out Big Cat Walker for competing stuff, but I didn't think they had a chance to win. And then, I thought Eddie and Chief knew a lot about Chicago, but I honestly thought the running 6 or 7 miles was going to wear them down.
And it did. Aside from their
it did,
knowledge.
Yeah. See them, you could almost see them like run out of gas, like especially like during the kayaking, and then right afterwards. Like, I think a big reason that they took the wrong turn was they were just tired, and they just lost their focus for a second. That's all it takes. When you're competing against other teams, especially when there's that many left, you lose your focus for a little bit, and you're out. It's that happens that quick. But I will thank you guys so much for.
Yeah. Last thing I want to get just Major League. I know you're doing your Trust the Data, Major League Baseball stuff. Today's the trade deadline too. A lot going on. Do you have any? You've been doing pretty good with it. I saw you're up on the year a couple units. I mean, I follow you. I've seen it's been real streak. You've been super streaky. Like, I've seen like you get a real hot.
I'll win 8 in a row, and then I'll lose 7 in a row. It's very frustrating. Today's a huge day. So, really Dave's team is kind of in the crosshairs right now. Their ace pitcher, Garett Crochet, it sounds like they're going to move him. That's kind of the word right now. It sounds like Blake Snell and the Giants is not going to get moved. So you might get a haul for Crochet, but if you trade him, you better go.
Yeah, you better. So you're going to send me down a rabbit hole. I don't want them to trade him. I think they should build around him. I think that.
And he's young. I mean, he's still pretty young.
He's 26.
Yeah.
You're 25. 20. He's young.
He's 26,
so young.
Right? But he's only controlled for 2 more years after this.
2.5 more years. 3 playoff pushes.
Well, but this year is nothing.
Extend him.
This year doesn't matter. 2 more years.
Their payroll is going to be minuscule next year. Minuscule. They could double their payroll and it'd be middle of the pack, and they're not going to do it because Jerry Reinsdorf is Satan. They're going to trade him because they're afraid of not these next 2 years. They're afraid of what he's going to command. You fucking losers.
They've been-
I don't even want to talk about
Well, yeah, that makes sense. So Garett Crochet, any other big names you're watching? I saw that there was the Yankees, Jazz Chisholm hit 2 bombs his first game. Did I see that?
The second game, yeah.
Second game.
I mean, Jazz Chism. I'm not a huge Jazz Chism fan. I mean, yeah, he had the home
Great
run. One
name.
of them came off like a position player, I think. So like, yeah, it's fine. He's a fine player. He's league average bat. He can run a little bit. Two things I like about Jazz Chism. He's 26 and he can play second base. He can play center field. Now they have him at third base, so he's versatile. I like that. I don't think he's a difference maker. One guy I like a lot is Brent Rooker on the A's. He has a slugging percentage of like 570. He can hit the shit out of the ball. And right now in baseball, hitting is down. Pitching is up. So it's crazy. Like, look at the trade late last night. Jorge Soler went from the Giants to the Braves. They got him for nothing. Like the 17th best prospect in their system. Nothing. To me, it's like backwards. Like, I almost think hitters are more valuable than pitchers right now because the pitching is so up right now in baseball. So I don't know. Everything seems upside down. You see a guy like Kikuchi get traded last night from the Blue Jays, the Astros. They got a haul back for him.
I know. I was surprised by how much they got because I didn't think
he's
I thought
not
it
a
was
good
pretty
pitcher.
big. Yeah.
He's never been. He has, I think, an 88 ERA plus. He's pitched for 6 years. We know Kikuchi doesn't pitch well, but they still got a lion's share for him.
They
So
got
I
a
don't know.
better
Everything's
haul
back.
for him than the White Sox did for Eric Fetty. And not just Eric Fetty. Eric Fetty, Tommy Pham, and Michael Kopech. So 3 players. It's pathetic.
Yeah,
Eric
I don't know.
Fetty- Eric
only
Fetty's a-
controlled for one more year.
At nothing.
Fam's nothing. I mean, Fam is Fam. I mean,
Fam's he's a spare part, but all teams need spare parts.
I guess.
Tommy-
I mean,
I've watched
he was
Tommy Pham-
unemployed until May.
Because he wanted too much money, that's why. But I watched
Yeah,
Tommy Pham and Paul DeYoung are the 2 players on the White Sox that are like obviously Garett Crochet and Luis Robert. Those 2 players,
Yeah.
like I was like, oh, these guys are no good. They're professional baseball players. They are professional baseball players, not superstars by any mean. They're professional baseball players. Tommy Pham he is gonna help a team win, or now it's gonna be the Cardinals, but he will help the Cardinals win. He's a good player. He's a good player. And
He's
they got
fine, but
absolute-
like the guys
No,
like that are that.
But
you're
Eric
not gonna get a
Fetty
return for a guy
is
like that, though, Dave.
Eric
Not.
Fetty is young. He's controlled. He's cheap, and he's a solid pitcher. A solid.
I agree.
He's a solid 3.
I like Fetty.
I've watched almost
He
every
runs
one of his
something
starts
Korea.
this year, and he reinvented himself in Korea, and he's been a very good pitcher. I'm not gonna say stud because he's not overpowering, doesn't miss a ton of
No.
bats. That's a guy you want as your 3. You're fucking golden. He's been awesome.
But
this
you
year.
got some stuff back. You got back.
No, they
Vargas, who's
didn't.
an interesting hitter.
The
Vargas is
Dodgers
an
just
interesting
quit
hitter.
on him, and he has been completely overmatched by big league pitching so far.
He has been.
There's a reason the Dodgers quit on
him.
him. And then they didn't even get anybody back from the team they traded Fetty to, the actual asset of value. I got to talk about this on my show today. I'm going down the rabbit hole. I said I wasn't.
Anybody non-White Sox, any other people you're looking to get moved today?
I mean, I'll tell you someone who should get moved that's not going to is Vladdy Jr. on the Blue Jays. I know what the Blue Jays are doing. The Blue Jays, I think, are a dead team. They should blow it up. Bo Bichette and Vladdy are both free agents at the end of next year. You have a chance to get a lion's share back for Vladdy Jr., and they say they're going to try to run it back next year. So that means they're keeping guys like Berrios, Kevin Gossman, Jose. Who else did they have in pitching? That team should blow it up, tear everything down, and instead they're staying the course. They're going to trade guys like IKF, who you're not going to get. He's like he's a fine player, but you're not going to get anything back for him. So I don't know what they're doing. Sometimes these trade deadlines can be a little underwhelming. Speaking for my Mets, I love to see us go get a major starting pitcher, but I don't know, other than Crochet, I don't know who's really available now. So I don't know kind of what the next move is. You hear like Jack Flaherty and the Tigers. That's not a needle mover.
Not really. Scooball, he's been incredible, but like
They can't move him though. How can they? He's about to win the Cy Young. I mean,
right.
you're gonna lose
you're
gonna lose the fan base.
They
if you
should
do
trade
it.
him.
They should. Yeah, you don't make moves based on, and I say that as a White Sox fan who thinks that like I could run the White Sox better than the White Sox do. However, you can't make a move based on what your fan base thinks. Unless you're the White Sox, actually. I will take that back. 29 other teams shouldn't do that.
Who do you, Klemmer? Obviously, I've been following it. Like, who any sleeper teams make runs second half? Anything you're watching? Obviously, the Mets have played awesome recently.
Mets have looked great. I always keep my eye on the Diamondbacks. If they can get Eduardo Rodriguez back, and they can kind of get that pitch together. Maybe Zach Gallen was hurt for a good chunk of the year. They got him back now, and they're playing better because of it. You got Merrill Kelly, and then if Brandon Pfaadt, if he can kind of level up again, and then if Corbin Carroll can hit, because he's having a horrific year. He's having a terrible season. If he can come back to the Corbin Carroll we saw last year, the Diamondbacks are definitely a team to watch.
All right, I know everybody's on the everybody knows about the Phillies being so good, and everybody's riding the Orioles right now. The obvious ones. Do you think? What do you think about the Astros right now? Because it seemed like they were getting it together.
Yeah, they absolutely are. The reason the Astros are so bad, especially in May, was their pitching staff just became depleted with injuries. But they've kind of figured it out. They got Framber. They got Ronel Blanco's having this fantastic year. And then I just made fun of Kikuchi. They shouldn't have traded what they did for him, for sure. But Kikuchi at least can give you some innings, and that Astros lineup is good enough to keep you in games. I like the Astros a lot. The Rangers, I feel like, are kind of going down the other way. They just traded Michael Lorenzen into the Royals. I think they're going to hold on to everybody else. They did just get Josh Young back. I don't know if the Rangers have enough gas in the tank. They're getting Jacob deGrom back in late August. But is that enough to catch the Astros, who have been playing basically red-hot baseball since the beginning of June? I don't know.
Okay. Well, Klemmer, always just congrats on the rat race stuff. Thank you for including Dave and I. We look forward to hopefully competing in the next one, trying to defend the title. And thanks for joining us on Wake Up Mintzy. Been trying to, I'm glad we could finally get you on because we've been playing. Our schedules have been all.
I know. Every time I go to this show, we have this weird, like, we had the commercial last week and everything else. No, thanks so much for doing it. You guys will be back in the next one. I appreciate you guys to death, and congratulations, you guys.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to. I feel like there could be another pro day next year too. That was a wild thing we did.
Oh, I think so. I think me and you will be going head to head again, and I will win again.
All right, I'm gonna have to get my challenging up. Then I'm gonna have to. I don't know.
Jim Mintzy.
Yeah, Jim. I think I need to work more on my grilled cheese stuff too. My cooking probably needs to improve. All right. Well, thanks, Klemmer. Check out Rat Race if you hadn't. It's all over all of Barstool socials. Incredible job by the production team, and hell yeah, Dave. I'm just smiling looking at you on that because Dave. No matter what, we're always gonna have the Rat Race thing. Before we get out of here, how excited are you about the Bears?
I can't wait, man. Baseball season has been bad in Chicago, not just on the south side, but the north side too. But it's the most excited I've been for football season in probably ever, I would say, but at least since the
Cutler NFC Championship team.
No, I mean this. I didn't expect that team to be what they were. I expect this team to, not necessarily this year, but I expect this team to actually be very, very potent in the years to come, and this is going to be the start of it. So I'm excited.
So this year, like, what would expectations be? Would like just a winning record would be?
What's their over under set at right now? Last I looked, it was 8.5. I haven't seen it.
I think that's what I saw.
Like, that was a minute ago. I looked at it. I need
they were 8-9 last year, right?
7 and 10. So I say 10 wins is absolutely reasonable expectation. Not more than that. But 10 wins should absolutely be. Obviously for them, Super Bowl should be the goal. But like 10 wins,
but yeah, get it going the right direction. Have a good winning year. Yeah. Caleb Williams flashes with all the talent.
And 10 wins that's getting you in the playoffs more than likely.
Oh no, it's 17 playoffs.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's getting you in the playoffs. So and then going a run. And Caleb Williams has been blessed with all the talent.
There's never been a team like I know a lot of people were like the argument for the draft that RG3 and people were making were the stupidest thing because he's in the best situation for a one pick ever. Because coming to a team that was 7-10, not 2-15. And then, you got Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Anaduze, Simon Swift.
Cole Kmet.
Yeah, Cole Kmet's good. The O-line, they took the O-line tackle.
Yeah.
And the defense looked good down the stretch.
Their defense looked awesome in the second half of the year. And, by all accounts, there had been improvements made there as well. The punter, obviously, they had 4 draft picks this year. They used one on a punter. And right off the bat, I'm like, what the fuck are they doing using one of their few draft picks on a punter? He's legitimately the greatest punter of all time. Torrey Taylor, kid from Iowa. I'm seeing all these clips of him pinning the ball. That is going to make a difference this year in at least one game.
He'll probably punt. It'll take 2 or 3 seasons of playing for the Bears to punt as much as he did at Iowa last year.
I don't
Hopefully.
know. Hopefully.
Yeah.
But the Bears have a history of punting a lot as well. But everything seems to have worked perfectly to lead up to this season, going from, the Houston Texans with Lovie Smith having a Hail Mary and a 2-point conversion for the Bears to get that first pick. The Panthers being a complete dumpster fire, so they got last year's first pick.
And getting DJ Moore and the pick.
DJ Moore, too.
DJ Moore's DJ Moore, the thing with him.
He's a stud.
Oh, I know, and he's had the worst quarter. I mean, he's played with Darnold. I guess he had Mayfield, Darnold,
Nobody,
Fields.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
got a dude thrown to him, hopefully.
And he's got guys that, he's going to get single coverage.
Exactly, yeah. You can't focus on him because then, their fourth option is Cole Kmet, who is a very good receiving tight end. Not like he's not Travis Kelce, but
he's
fourth best target.
Yeah, no,
with all these guys opening up the field for him, I think it's going to be a really fun year.
I like the offensive coordinator, Hire Waldron, too. I thought, he got a lot out of Geno in Seattle.
That's what they say. We'll see. And Gervon Dexter is apparently just turned into the Incredible Hulk. And they really needed a 3-tech to step up. Apparently, he's doing it. I could not be more excited for the Bears season. And first game's tomorrow, first preseason game. They're in the Hall of Fame game. So
all right.
Get to see Caleb Williams in action for probably 3 plays.
Yeah, I think he'll play one series.
Yeah, one series.
Yeah. Still, though, football's the Hall of Fame game is always like a traditional thing where I know it's like I never get too into preseason, but the Hall of Fame
Thursday.
game,
I'm sorry, it's Thursday.
Yeah, Hall of Fame game's like, okay, football's starting, it's on the horizon. Mm-hmm. And then also, last thing, shout out, because I'm about to be joining, it's going to be funny because I'm going to be getting on the White Sox bandwagon, but Elko got called up Tim Elko got called up to AAA.
I didn't even see that.
He got called up to AAA on Sunday.
I didn't even see
the Ole
that.
Miss former captain star, my buddy. Had a really good year in AA for the Barons, but I'm thinking September, looking good.
Hopefully, he's definitely got a shot. If not, it'll be wide open for him next year. So
yeah, I'm gonna be I'm telling you, I'm gonna be at so many White Sox games, because I don't have a real Major League Baseball aunt, and I'm friends with Tim and his dad. So I'm gonna be supporting the crap out of that, if he gets up here, and it'll be fun getting him in the Barstool office too.
At worst, I would say April next year. At worst, at this point,
I'm really hoping for I don't know what the rules are at the September thing and the contract thing, but I know they go to the 40-man rosters, so I really hope he gets
that's so he's not on it yet.
Okay.
So they'd have to put him on it at the expense of someone else, which I don't know if they're ready to do because they don't have to do it with him yet.
Yeah.
So it might there's a shot that it happens this September, but it's more than likely going to happen. I'd say April next year.
Well, hell yeah. Well, Dave, loved it. Congrats.
Loved it.
Champions and shout out to Klemmer. Casey Smith going to join us tomorrow. Get ready for college football. Excited to have her on. Let's go have a day at the Barstool office, man. Another beautiful day. Last day, or I guess today's second to last day of July. But once we get to August, that football season, man, it's gonna be here before we know it. A lot of big announcements coming. So let's have a day, fellas. Thanks again to Dave and Chris Klemmer and Moody. Shout out, holding the fort down.
Thanks, Mintzy. I gotta run home real quick.
No, yeah, you're good.